Welcome everybody. Welcome to yet another NCERT marking series of one-shot revision of NCERT marking of Plant Kingdom chapter. Hope almost everybody have completed the chapter, studying the chapter, everything. So today we will be doing the NCERT marking series on the chapter of Plant Kingdom. I hope you all can hear me properly. Yes, I'm speaking a bit low. I hope you all can hear me properly to the maximum. Right, everybody? Yes. So let's get going with the super amazing NCERT marking series of the Plant Kingdom. Yes, everybody. Those who are watching the session right now, don't forget to hit the like button, do share it with your friends, subscribe the channel, Biopoint, stream the world of bio. So without wasting too much of time, let's get into the chapter. In the previous chapter, we looked at the broad classification of living organism, which was proposed by R.H. Whitaker in the year 1969. Previous year question, biological classification, we have done it, right? Biological classification, we have done it. R.H. Whitaker, 1969, proposed a five kingdom system of classification that consists of Monera, Protista, fungi, Animalia, and Plantae. In this chapter, we will deal in detail with a further classification within the kingdom Plantae, popularly known as the plant kingdom. We must stress here that our understanding of the plant kingdom has changed over time. Fungi and members of Monera and Protista having cell walls having now been excluded from the Plantae, though earlier classification placed them in the plant kingdom. So the cyanobacteria, very important statement, cyanobacteria. When you see the term bacteria, you will understand that this is a bacterian or a moneran. But if they give you the other term, that is cyanobacteria, or they are referred to as a BGA or blue-green algae, they are not algae anymore. They are coming under kingdom Monera. So in this chapter, we are going to discuss about algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. So these five classes is what our class or this chapter deals around. Am I right? Yes. So let us look at the broad classification within the angiosperm. That is the first classification was proposed by R.H. Whitaker. We already studied that and it was a plant kingdom. Right, and here we are going to take about the plant kingdom in detail. Yes, the first type of classification among the plants was the artificial system of classification, which was given by Carl Linnaeus, which was the first system of classification. It is the, one second, let me take out the pen for you. Yes. The first system of classification was the artificial system of classification, and it was given by Carl Linnaeus. Okay, and what was the characters? Early system used only gross morphological characters such as habit, color, number, and shape of the leaf. And this is an important statement. He gave equal weightage to vegetative or the andrecium structure. So Linnaeus classification was based on the andrecium structure. That was a previous year Neet MCQ question, a statement-based question it was. Okay, that was asked for a previous year Neet exam, and students thought like it was a wrong statement because initially we'll study that it is based on the gross morphological character and laid emphasis on the vegetative characters. But here itself it have been mentioned it is based on the andrecium structure even. And this type of an artificial classification was given by Linnaeus. Number one. Next one, the artificial system of classification gave equal weightage to both vegetative and sexual characteristic. Give equal weightage to both sexual and vegetative characteristic. Second came as the natural system of classification. It was based on the natural affinities among the organism. It was based on the natural affinities among the organism. Is that clear? Yes. Yes, yes. Which color should I use? Yes, I think it's okay. So the natural system did not only mention or explained about the external features, but it played an important role in explaining the internal features as well. So such a classification of artificial was given by Linnaeus. Now the natural system of classification is given by George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker. So George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker proposed the artificial system of classification. Not sorry, artificial, natural system of classification. Last one is the phylogenetic system of classification. The phylogenetic system of classification was put forth by Enkler and Prandtl. What was it? Enkler and Prandtl put forth the phylogenetic system of classification. This phylogenetic system of classification is based on the evolutionary relationship. Okay, it was based on the evolutionary relationship of various organisms. This assumes that the organism belong to the same taxa, have common ancestor. We use three different methods for this classification. That is, first one is numerical taxonomy. That is done with the help of computer based on our observable character by using numbers and codes for specific characters. And second came is the cytotaxonomy, that is based on the cytological information, chromosome number, structure, and behavior. And the last basis was the chemotaxonomy, that uses chemical constituents of the plants. Done. Yes. Next is the class about the algae. That I'm going a bit fast because we have already done, and this is just an NCERT marking series. Done. So algae is chlorophyll bearing, simple thalloid, autotrophic, aquatic, freshwater, and marine organism. They occur in a variety of habits: moist stones, soils, and wood. Some of them also occur in association with fungi and animals. That is, association of algae with fungi, lichen, and association with animal is known as sloth bear. It is an important statement. Okay, it is an important statement for your Neet exam. Done? Yes. So you have to understand that they are chlorophyll bearing, simple and thalloid structures. Okay, they vary from colonial form. Example for a colonial algae is volvox. Filamentous forms like Eulothrix is a filamentous form. Spirogyra is a filamentous form. A few of the marine forms such as kelp form massive plant body. Okay, that will form a massive plant body. Okay, everybody. So the filamentous algae such as Eulothrix, Spirogyra, marine forms massive plant bodies such as the kelps. The algae reproduces mainly by vegetative, asexual, or sexual method. You can find any of these methods in algae. Vegetative reproduction in algae takes place by fragmentation. Previous year NEET MCQ PYQ. Okay, asexual reproduction is by the formation of zoospores which are flagellated. Okay, motile spores. Done. Sexual reproduction takes place by the fusion of two gametes. These gametes can be flagellated and of similar size as in Eulothrix. In older NCERT, it is Chlamydomonas. Okay, as in Eulothrix, and non-flagellated, non-motile as in Spirogyra. Okay, non-motile, similar sized in Spirogyra, you will find it out. Done. So flagellated, similar sized gametes, flagellated, similar sized isogametes you will find in Eulothrix, and non-flagellated, non-motile but similar sized gamete you will find in the Spirogyra. Such reproduction, similar sized gamete, you will call them as isogamous condition. Fusion of two dissimilar gametes in size, as you see in Eudorina. In your text, it is Chlamydomonas. So in older edition, it is Chlamydomonas. So change it into Eudorina. Eudorina, you will find the anisogamous condition, and you will find the fusion of one large non-motile female gamete and a smaller motile male gamete. That type of reproduction is known as oogamous. Example in volvox and fucus. So oogamous condition is very, very important for your exam. Okay, oogamous condition is a previous year PYQ question. Done. This statement, this last paragraph, it's very important. Last line is very, very important. So one is a large non-motile female and small motile male. Okay, contradictory statement. So please make sure that you get it correctly. Done. Yes. So let's get going. So this is the diagram which we will discuss. Okay, these are the green algae. This is coming under the class of chlorophytes, green algae. This is coming under the class of brown algae. And the next, this is coming under the class of red algae. Okay, the first, oh my God. The first one is the volvox. Volvox is what? Colonial algae. Filamentous algae. Spirogyra. Then these are the red algae. What is the common name for red algae? It is the Rhodophyceae. Sorry, they are the brown algae. What is the common name? That is Laminaria, Fucus, and Dictyota. Laminaria, Fucus, and Dictyota are the three brown algae. What is it? Laminaria, Fucus, and Dictyota. These diagrams are also previous year question. Okay, frond, stipe, and hold fast. Air bladder. This Fucus diagram is a several years repeated previous year question for the NEET exam. So please pay attention. Okay. Next is the red algae. That is, this is Porphyra, and the last one is Polysymphonia. So let's discuss each thing in detail. So algae, at least half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on Earth is carried out by the organisms known as the algae. They are the primary producers of energy, which forms the basis of food cycles of aquatic mammals. Many species of Porphyra and Laminaria and Sargassum, they are used as food. So what are the algae which is used as food? Porphyra, Laminaria, and Sargassum. Certain hydrocolloids, water-holding substances such as algin, which is obtained from a brown algae, previous year question. Carrageen from a red algae, previous year question. So this was asked and they just interchanged. Red algae over here and they asked like brown algae over here. So that was a wrong statement. You were asked to identify the wrong statement. So you have to identify that easily. Algin is obtained from the brown algae. Carrageen is obtained from the red algae, which are used commercially. And one more, agar, that is obtained from two red algae, Gelidium and Gracilaria, are obtained to grow microbes and in the preparation of ice creams and jellies. Chlorella, which is a unicellular algae which is rich in protein, used by the space travelers. Very important. Okay, chlorella is a unicellular algae. NEET 2020 question. Okay, chlorella is a unicellular algae that is used by the space travelers. Next, we are going to study about the different classes of algae. First one is the Chlorophyceae. Okay, first one is the Chlorophyceae. Chlorophyceae is commonly known as the green algae. They have dominance of the pigments chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. The chloroplast is of different shapes. That is discoid, plate-like, reticulate, cup-shaped, spiralum, ribbon-shaped, etc. One or more storage bodies called pyrenoids are located in the chloroplast. The pyrenoids contain proteins besides starch. Very important. Pyrenoid contain proteins besides starch. They may also store food in the form of oil droplets. The cell wall of green algae is made up of cellulose and outer layer of pectin, inner layer of cellulose and an outer layer of pectose. Vegetative reproduction usually takes place by fragmentation or by the formation of different types of spores. Asexual reproduction is by the flagellated zoospores. So zoospores is generally what? They are motile, that is they are flagellated. Okay, a gamete can only be motile if it is flagellated, right? So a zoospores is a motile flagellated, that is a motile or flagellated gamete. Then examples, we have already studied that: Chlamydomonas, Volvox, Eulothrix, Pyrogera, and Chara. In the BioShort video, inside our playlist session, you will find the code of this. Clear? Bryophytes, which is commonly known as the brown algae, they are marine habitats. Simple branched filamentous forms such as ectocarpus to profusely branched forms such as kelp. And their major pigment is chlorophyll A, C, carotenoids, and xanthophylls. They vary in color from olive green to various shades of brown, and it is dependent upon the various xanthophyll pigments and fucoxanthin. The food stored is a complex carbohydrate which is in the form of laminarin and mannitol, The vegetative cell have a cellulosic cell wall made up of algin. Okay, they have a plastid, additional to protoplast, they have a plastid, a centrally located vacuole, and a nucleus. It is hold to the substratum by root-like structure called the holdfast, a stem-like structure called the stipe, and a photosynthetic leaf-like organ which is known as the frond. Vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation. Asexual reproduction is by the biflagellated zoospores that are pear-shaped and have two unequal laterally. That is the chlorophytes have 2 to 8 apical flagella. Here they have two unequal laterally placed flagella. Laterally placed flagella. Okay, the gametes are pyriform or they are pear-shaped. And the common forms are ectocarpus, dictyota, laminaria, sargassum. So mnemonic is mentioned already, right? Next is the rhodophyceae. Rhodophyceae. Okay, the rhodophyceae members are commonly known as the red algae due to the predominance of the pigment R phycoerythrin. Most of the red algae are marine. Okay, and the red thalli of the red algae are multicellular in nature and their food is stored as the Floridian starch, which is similar. The structure of Floridian starch is similar to amylopectin and glycogen. It is similar to amylopectin and glycogen. Okay, so this was a Neet 2020 question. Neet 2020 question. Floridian starch has a structure similar to amylopectin and glycogen. Okay, they reproduce sexually by non-motile spores. That is, what is the speciality of non-motile spores, and sexually also by the non-motile spores? That is, they do not have flagella. Okay, no flagella. In chlorophyceae, you have 2 to 8 apical flagella. Second, phyophytes, you have 2 lateral flagella. Here you will have no flagella, or flagella are absent. Sexual reproduction is oogamous type and the common members are P square, G square. Okay, Polysymphonia, Porphyra, Gracilaria and Gelidium are the common members. This is a very, very simple thing which is there in your NCERT itself. So at that point of time itself, we have been telling you to revise it. First one is a chlorophyceae, which is commonly referred to as a green algae. The major pigments are chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Food store is starch. Cell wall made up of cellulose. 2 to 8 equal apical flagella. Next is a brown algae. Phyophyceae, you have the brown algae. Common pigments or major pigments are chlorophyll A and C, fucoxanthin. Stored food material is in the form of mannitol and laminarin. Cell wall is made up of cellulose and algin. 2 unequal lateral flagella. Third one is a rhodophyceae, which is commonly known as red algae, chlorophyll A, D, and phycoerythrin. Floridian starch is a reserve food material, cellulose, pectin, and polysulfate esters. And the number of flagella are absent. Very, very important statement. So that marks the end of the algal part. Is that clear for everybody? That marks the end of the algal part. Okay. Give me hearts on the screen if up to here is it perfectly clear. If up to here is it perfectly clear. Yes. Next, we are moving on to the bryophytes. Next, we are moving on to the bryophytes. Okay, bryophytes. Let's start with the bryophytes. Bryophytes include various classes such as mosses and liverworts that are found in the moist shaded areas in the hill. I have been telling you this diagram is 100% MCQ question. So archegoniophore, gemmicarps and rhizoids. Antheridiophore, gemmacarp and rhizoids. Clear everybody? Yes, this is also important. Seta capsule. This is a capsule. Leaves, main axis and the rhizoids. This leafy part is a gametophyte and the other part is a sporophyte. This is the archegonial branches and this is simply the branches. So the first one shown was the liverwort, that is a merchantia, first archegoniophore in the female thallus and the radiophore in the male thallus. This is the female. This is the male thallus. This diagram is of the funaria. This structure is of the funaria. And the third one is the sphagnum. The sphagnum is also known as what? Peatmost, used for the transshipment. Yes, so let's get going with this. Yes. Bryophytes are called the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Point number one, because they can live in the soil but are dependent on water for their sexual reproduction. Okay, because they are dependent on water for their sexual reproduction. Okay, they play an important role in plant succession and on bare rocks. They play an important role in plant succession and on bare rocks. The main plant body is more differentiated than that of an algae. It is thallus-like and prostate or erect, attached to the substratum by either unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. They lack a true root stem or leaves, but they possess root-like, stem-like, and leaf-like structures. The main plant body of bryophytes is haploid in nature that produces gametes, which is the main plant body. Gametophyte is the main plant body. Okay, the main plant body is the gametophyte, which is haploid and it produces gametes. The sex organs in bryophytes are multicellular in nature. The male sex organ, you will call them as the antheridium that produces biflagellated anthrozooids. The female sex organ is the archegonium, which is flask-shaped that produces a single egg. An anthrozooid fuses with the egg to produce a zygote. Zygote do not undergo reduction division and they form a multicellular body called the sporophyte. The sporophyte is not free living, but it is attached to the photosynthetic gametophyte and derives nourishment from it. Some cells of the sporophyte undergo reduction division, which is a meiosis, to produce a haploid spores. These spores will again germinate to form the gametophyte. Is that clear? Is that clear? So the main plant body of the bryophytes is a gametophyte. The male sex organ is the antheridium. The female sex organ is the archegonium. You already studied that the antheridium produces anthrozooid, which is the male gamete, and it fuses with the female gamete. Okay, both these things fuses together to form a zygote, a single cell, right? A single cell zygote. This zygote will germinate to form the sporophyte. Okay, this will germinate to form the sporophyte. Done? And this sporophyte will produces these spores, and from that spores again you will get the gametophytic stage. Clear? You will get the gametophytic stage again. That is actually meant over here. Bryophytes in general are of little importance. That is, mosses provide food for herbaceous plants and animals. Sphagnum, which is the peat moss, that have been used for the packing material, for the transshipment of living material because of their capacity to hold water, Okay, lichens were the first organism along with the bryophytes. They were the first organism to colonize the rocks. And they prevent soil erosion as well. They are mainly classified into liverworts and mosses. I know I am simply reading and highlighting it only because the name of the series itself is the NCERT highlight or NCERT marking series. Okay, you are supposed to read it along with me. If you need any explanation, I have pinned the link of the playlist of the Plant Kingdom detailed lecture on the chat box as well as on the comment section. So as soon as if you get any doubt, you can go and watch it out. Okay. And if you have any doubt, a smaller doubt or something, you can either text me the Telegram. The direct link to join the Telegram is there on the description box. Liverworts, the main plant body is thalloid. Liverworts, example is Marchantia. They are dorsiventrally and closely appressed to the substrate. The leaf-like members have tiny leaf-like appendages in 2 rows. Okay, they'll be arranged like this. Right? Yes. Asexual reproduction is by the fragmentation and or by the formation of specialized gemmacups. Very important question for your NEET exam. What is this gemmacups? They are green multicellular asexual buds. Small receptacles called gemmacups. Right? We have already studied that. So the asexual reproduction takes place either by fragmentation or by the formation of a green structure called the gemmacups or the gemma. Clear? So the organs are produced on the either side. The sporophyte is differentiated into foot, setae, and capsule. Okay, it is actually divided into foot, setae, and capsule. Done, everybody. I hope you can see that. Next is the mosses. Next, we are going to study about the mosses. The first stage is the protonema stage, which directly develops from a spore. It is a creeping green leafy branched frequently filamentous stage, and the second stage it is the leafy stage. It develops from the secondary protonema. Done. It bears multicellular or branched rhizoids. Vegetative reproduction takes place by fragmentation and budding, and in sexual reproduction the sex organs such as antheridium and archegonium are produced. The sporophyte in mosses is more elaborated than in the liverwort. Okay, and the examples of mosses is funaria, polytrichum, and sphagnum. Very, very important. Pteridophytes includes the host tail and the mosses. Pteridophytes include the host tail and the mosses. Okay, include the pteridophytes, include the host tail and the host tail and the ferns. Pteridophytes are used for medicinal purposes and also as soil binders. They are frequently grown as ornamentals. They were the first terrestrial plants to possess vascular bundles, that is xylem and phloem. Very important. Very important. Okay. They were the first land plants to possess vascular bundles, that is the xylem and the phloem. In pteridophytes, the dominant phase in bryophytes, moreover, we have to just recall that in bryophytes, the dominant phase was a gametophytic plant body, but in pteridophytes, the main plant body is the sporophyte. Okay, main plant body is the sporophyte. These organs possess well-differentiated vascular tissues. That is why they are called the vascular plants. The leaves in pteridophytes are small. Then you will call them as the microphylls, as in Selaginella, or large as macrophylls, as in the ferns. They bear sporangia that are subtended by the leaf-like appendages called the sporophylls. Okay, in some cases, the sporophyll may form distinct compact structures called the strobili or cones. Selaginella and equisitum. Selaginella and equisitum. Okay, that you will find it out. Okay, everybody. Clear? Strobilus. Node, internode. Between two successive nodes, you'll have the internode. Then this is a rhizome and this is the branch. Right? You have to learn this. So diagram A was Selaginella. This is the Selaginella. Okay. Second one is the equisitum. Third one, this is the ferns. And this is the salvinia. Okay, this is the salvinia. Okay. Yes. Photosynthetic thalloid gametophyte. The photosynthetic gametophyte is called the prothallus. The gametophyte require a cool, damp, shady areas. Okay. Because of this, they have a restricted requirement. Because of this specific restricted requirement, they are spreading to only a narrow region. Done. The male sex organ antheridium, female sex organ archegonium. Water is required for the transfer of anthrozooid, the male gamete. Fusion of the male gamete with the egg present in the archegonium result in the formation of the zygote. The zygote is a multicellular, well-differentiated sporophyte, which is a dominant phase of the pteridophytes. So in pteridophytes, sporophyte act as the dominant phase. So homosporous condition and heterosporous condition, very important. You have to see my detailed lecture because in the NCERT only two plants for heterosporous condition are mentioned. Selaginella and salvinia are heterosporous in nature, only that is mentioned. But please do watch the pinned message on the chat box. You will definitely find. Okay, please see the pinned message or go to the playlist session and search for Plant Kingdom for Neet 2023, Neet 2023. Then you'll find this. This is again the development of the zygote into young embryos takes place within the female gametophyte. This event is a precursor to seed habit, which is an important step in evolution. Very important and repeated previous year question from this area. You will find it out. Okay, this is again an important statement. This is again an important one. That is, pteridophytes are classified into Coelopsida, Lycopsida, Sphenopsida, and Pteropsida. That is Coelotum, Selaginella, and Lycopodium. Equisitum is a Sphenopsida, Dryopterus, Pteris, and Adiantum. It is the Pteropsida. Okay, next is the gymnosperms. The gymnosperms, that means they bear naked seeds. Their ovules are not enclosed by ovary walls. They have medium-sized trees to tall plants. The giant redwood tree, sequoia, is one of the tallest trees in the entire world, that is belonging to the class of gymnosperms. So, the roots, they have mycorrhizal association in Pinus, and in Cycas, you will find specialized coralloid root association with a nitrogen-fixing bacterium. Clear? Clear? So, mycorrhizal association in Pinus and coralloid association with nitrogen-fixing bacteria in the Cycas. The stems are unbranched in Cycas. The stems are branched in Pinus and Citrus. In Cycas, the pinnate leaves persist for a few years. In conifers, the needle-like leaf reduces the surface area. Their thick cuticle and sunken stomata helps to reduce the loss of water by transpiration. Is that clear? The gymnosperms. Okay, the gymnosperms. One second. The gymnosperms are heterosporous in nature. They produce haploid, microspores, and megaspores. Okay, born on strobilus or corn. So guys, this is an example for a gymnosperm. Okay, is that clear for everybody? Okay, done. So, male and female corns of strobilus may be born on the same tree in Pinus, and in Cycas, male corns and female corns are born on the different trees. Clear? One of the megaspores enclosed within the megasporangium develops into a multicellular female gametophyte with 2 or more archegonia or female sex organ. Clear? You don't have to study all these things. Just simply you have to study. Unlike bryophytes and pteridophytes, in gymnosperms, a male and female gametophyte do not have an independent existence. Clear? Here you will possess what? Naked ovules or naked seeded plants. They are not enclosed by an ovary wall. Cycas, what is what we observed first, then we observe Pinus, and this is ginkgo. If they are asking you the living fossil, if they're asking you to write an example for a living fossil from the plant kingdom, Ginkgo biloba, ginkgo is an example. This plant is an example for a living fossil. Can you please name me a living fossil which is studied in the animal kingdom? Living fossil which is studied in the chapter Animal Kingdom. What was it? Yes, you studied about a structure known as limulus. Right? Limulus. So that is a living fossil. Done. The last part of the chapter is the angiosperm. I think there is no point in just keeping on telling about this angiosperms again because we have studied morphology also, right? So angiosperms. One second. Yes. In angiosperms, the seeds are enclosed in fruits. The smallest angiosperm, Wolffia, to the tallest angiosperm, Eucalyptus. Angiosperm is of 2 types, monocot and dicot. Yes, we have studied the differences between the monocot and the dicot plants in the chapter Morphology of Flowering Plants itself, right? Yes. So, generally each ovule has a megaspore mother cell that undergo meiosis to form 4 haploid megaspores. Each embryo sac have 3 cell condition known as the egg apparatus, 2 synergids, 3 antipodal cells, and 2 polar nuclei. Studying in detail in your class 12. No need to worry right now. Okay, no need to worry right now about this. Okay. I'm just ignoring this angiosperm. In most of your schools and all, they won't teach you this angiosperm. But we have done the detailed lecture of this angiosperm. So, and most probably the questions from this part of angiosperm won't be coming for the exam. Okay. This part of angiosperm won't be coming for the exam as well. Okay. Done, everybody. The plant cycle, that is alternation of generation. So there are mainly three: haplontic, diplontic, and haplodiplontic life cycle. So let's discuss one by one. This is the haplontic life cycle. The sporophytic generation is represented by the one-celled zygote. Okay. The meiosis in the zygote results in the formation of haploid spores. And the spores divide mitotically to form gametophyte. So just remember the examples: Volvox, Spirogyra, and Chlamydomonas. I've given you the detailed examples and the code also in the detailed lecture. This diagram is also a previous year diagram based question for Neet as well as for board exam. Done. This is a diplontic life cycle seen in fucus and all. Okay. Done, everybody. Haplodiplontic life cycle in bryophytes and pteridophytes. Have explained what is this haplontic, what is this diplontic, what is haplodiplontic in detail. The playlist is over there. Refer to the last video over there. Okay, you will find the alternation of generation. We discussed about angiosperms in detail. Video number 5 on plant kingdom. Done, everybody. You'll easily get to know that the diagrams are also very, very important. Done. So that marks the end of the super amazing NCERT marking series. I know you may be having certain doubts, but those who are already prepared with the chapter, those who have attended my detailed lecture class, would never have any doubt. If you have any, you can just either comment in the comment box or you can just text me in Telegram. Either on the group or to personal, I will clarify your doubt. What you can text me, what's your doubt? That's it. Okay, so bye-bye, guys. Thank you so much for listening into the class.